Hello everyone, and welcome to the Potato Awards of 2013. So this is actually the second time that I'm doing such an award show, and I did decide to change the format a little bit. So meaning that last year I still had categories like movies, for example, and also albums, and this year around I will discontinue them. They're not gonna happen anymore because I really just want to focus on gaming for the most part. In the end, this is a gaming channel. Most of you that are here because of gaming. So that's what I want to provide, gaming solely. So also I decided to do a top 5 list instead of giving you just a bunch of nominees and then picking a winner out of those. I just feel like that this makes it much easier for me to inform you guys on like why I like something more than something else, and also I think it just makes it more interesting for you guys to actually get some kind of ranking into this kind of thing. So with all of that out of the way, let's get down to business. Today, as I said, I'm here to talk about which game I enjoyed the most throughout the year. And since lists like this always spark a lot of controversy, I just feel like I should definitely outline a few things before we jump in. So A, these are not the absolute best games of the year. They're just merely the ones that I enjoyed the most. Like games that kept me interested and games I found myself just thinking about even after beating them. So that's A, and then B is that this also obviously means that this list only contains games I have played. So I don't know, there might be a bunch of games out there that you guys really enjoyed, but I just never got around to playing them. So for example, an Assassin's Creed 4 is not going to be in here, a Zelda A Link Between Worlds, Super Mario 3D World, all of those are not going to be in here. And that's kind of sad because all of those got a lot of acclaim from the press, so I will definitely maybe play them in the future and then find them amazing, but for this year they're not going to be in the list because I didn't play them. It's as easy as that. Then C, also no, GTA 5 is not on this list. I know a bunch of you guys out there probably would have picked it for that game of the year, or some even said it's going to be that game of the generation or whatever. But for me, it probably only would have been my number 6 or 7 spot maybe. And I will admit the following: the game is incredible. It's an incredible technical achievement. It also definitely deserves all of its success. It's just that I personally didn't enjoy the story all that much. Like, I feel like they wasted a lot of potential with that whole 3-character mechanic. It's just that they, I don't know, not really designed the story around having 3 characters. Like, it could have done so much more with it, but in the end it's just any old generic story that I also could have had with just 1 character in an earlier GTA. And also, quite frankly, the shooting isn't that interesting either, so I don't know, to me there's just too much that I kind of disliked or didn't find particularly outstanding. And that is why it's not going to be in my top 5 list. It's just all personal preference. Your opinion might definitely differ from mine, and if it does, please let me know in the comments section below, because in the end we can also like discuss what kind of preferences we have, what you like, what I like, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. For now, let's fucking finally start this thing. I've dragged it out way too long already, so here we go. Number 5 is going to be Ni no Kuni. So being a huge fan of everything that Hayao Miyazaki and his Studio Ghibli have done, picking up Ni no Kuni was an absolute no-brainer for me. Like, the game just looked amazing, it's pure eye candy, and also in terms of gameplay, it's far from shallow. Like, mixing the beautiful world and aesthetic of movies like Spirited Away, for example, or Ponyo, mixing that with a fighting system that's kind of similar to Pokemon, but one might argue it's more engaging than that. This game just had me invest more than 60 hours of time into it. Like, I didn't check prior to recording this, but I did play for around 60 or 70 hours, and I don't know, it's challenging, it's charming, it's almost everything I could have asked for. Like, my only gripe would have to be that it could have gone even more Ghibli with its monster and also environmental design. Like, some parts of Ni no Kuni simply kind of lack the creativity and attention to detail you'd find in their animes. Like, they could just easily be placed in any other JRPG. And I don't know, that's just something that bothers me a little bit. I personally, as a big fan of the Ghibli movies, I would have liked it to go more into that direction. Because, I mean, if you've watched those movies, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But I mean, other than that, it's a game that fans of the genre and also owners of a PlayStation 3 should most certainly check out. I mean, heck, there's even like a demo on PlayStation Network, so just go download that, give it a shot, and see how you like it. So that's Ni no Kuni. Now, number 4 is going to be Gone Home. So this is something that started out as an experimental mod for Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is like an indie horror game. And they turned that experiment into a $15 indie game. So I think that's even more expensive than Amnesia: The Dark Descent is itself. But yeah, a seemingly tall asking price for a game that only takes around 1.5 to 2 hours to beat. And yeah, a lot of people have problems with that, but let me tell you, the experience of playing through Gone Home is one of a kind. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, because obviously the game is best experienced without knowing anything about it, but I will say that no other game this year has sent me on such an emotional roller coaster ride. Like, there's excellent voice acting, thick atmosphere, and also like a slowly unfolding and very interesting story, and all of those just work together to create something that's truly immersive and just managed to keep me playing until the very end. Like, I did not put the controller down until I was finished with the game, until I had finally finished it. And I definitely need to mention that Gone Home is a very polarizing game. Like, for many people it isn't game enough, whatever that means, and also they see it as a rip-off of some sorts. I've read that on the internet. But if you're a fan of narrative-driven experimental games like Journey, for example, which was my winner for Game of the Year of 2012, or also The Walking Dead, and that is a Telltale version and not the Survival Instincts bullshit version, Gone Home is definitely something you should try out for yourself. Like, especially if you're sick of always seeing the same stories about war and saving the world and Nation X has secret powerful super weapon, blah blah blah. Like, this is so far away from that. It's awesome, and it definitely should be checked out by you, whether you end up liking it or not. Now, number 3. This is going to be The Last of Us. So, taking a break from the hit franchise Uncharted, Naughty Dog finally decided to give us something new this year. The Last of Us was easily one of the most anticipated games of 2013, and certainly did not disappoint. Like, in a time where zombie games come out almost every week, it's definitely not the most exciting premise with its post-apocalyptic world and zombies and whatever, but just the way it focuses on the relationships between survivors and also the utter tragedy that they have to deal with. That just makes Last of Us such an emotional game, like worth remembering even several years down the line. It's easily the best looking game on the PlayStation 3. Has an incredible immersive fighting system. Like, when you hit a guy with a wooden plank, it really fucking sounds and feels like you're hitting a guy with a wooden plank. And it just tells a story so filled to the brim with tragedy that you hardly want to put your controller down. Like, it's basically a train wreck in all the best ways. It takes you on a soul-crushing journey that you probably will never forget. And on top of that, it's got an amazing multiplayer too, so I kept going back to that even after finishing the story mode. Like, I even turned the whole thing into a ridiculously long series. So if you want to check that out, a link to that will be both at the end of the video and also down in the description. Now, moving on to number 2. Here we got probably my biggest surprise hit this year. Like, it's Tearaway, and I never really enjoyed Media Molecule's Little Big Planet games. And also, I didn't pick up a PlayStation Vita until the end of October. So just the fact that Tearaway and I crossed paths is something I didn't really see coming. Like, not at all. So now you might be asking, why is this on my number 2 spot? Like a fucking Vita game. What the fuck, mashed potatoes? Well, the answer is pretty simple, to be honest. Tearaway is just a time capsule to me. Like a time capsule from time where I was much younger and played games like Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64 for the very first time. Like, when I play Tearaway, I don't fucking think about all the struggles real life might bring along. I just zone out to what is probably the most joyful soundtrack I've heard in ages, and just constantly smile at all the creativity and the charm the developers decided to throw at you. Like, the entire world is made out of paper and it's so charming. The characters are all fun and there's so much I don't know, just creativity and love that they put into that design of the game. I don't know, there's so much fun to be had, I didn't even want to finish it. And once I did, I pretty much just went back to the beginning and started exploring every nook and cranny, just to make sure I didn't miss any joke, any character, any beautifully designed landscape. And I don't know, to me, Tearaway is just a love letter to gaming. And also this, in addition to a PlayStation Plus subscription, easily warrants the purchase of a Vita. So just fucking do yourself a favor and get on that. Now, we're finally here, number 1 spot. This now is my top favorite game of the year, and that definitely just has to be BioShock Infinite. As a big fan of the original BioShock, I just couldn't wait for a proper sequel to one of my favorite games after the disappointment that was BioShock 2. And what can I say, from the moment I first sat down and saw Columbia, I was sold, guys, like, and rightfully so. It is hands down the most imaginative and also thematically interesting setting I've ever experienced in a game. And it blows Rapture so out of the water, and pun totally intended. Like, combined with the engaging story of Booker and his mission to rescue Elizabeth, BioShock Infinite made it super hard for me to put down my controller. Like, so much so that one time I just couldn't resist playing more, even after an already extensive 3-hour session. And I will admit that it's far from being a perfect game, especially the shooting mechanics could have used a little bit more work. But just the way the story is told and the way it keeps making you doubt everything that you do, especially as a fan of the first BioShock, is just incredible. Like, there are so many memorable moments in the game, so many imaginative ideas, such a lovable companion in the form of Elizabeth. I'm definitely willing to forgive its shortcomings. Like, the game, in my opinion, is what we need more of. Just a passion project, following a clear vision, creating something that hasn't been created before, and just embracing what games as a medium can do. Like, there's so much love and creativity that's been put into BioShock Infinite, its world, its character designs. Not so much its gameplay, but as I said, I'm willing to forgive that this just, I don't know, is something I definitely also can still play and still want to play, even 10 years down the line probably. And yeah, this is what BioShock Infinite is to me. So now, these were my top 5 favorite games of this year. So this was really a tough list for me to make, honestly. Like, there weren't really too much games for me to choose from because I was still so busy completing games from previous years. Like, I never even got the chance to pick up all the good games that came out this year, and hopefully I will be able to play them once I find more time. So now, that means that it's your turn. What would your top 5 games look like? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm really curious what you guys enjoyed the most this year. Just tell me and let me know what games were the best in your opinion. Hell, maybe I'll end up checking those out and even end up playing them on my channel. Like, I don't even know. For now, all I want to do is thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, what can I say? Hopefully see you guys in 2014. Have a good one. Goodbye.